17 here with my weekly Bleach review, and today I have for you Bleach chapter 556, titled the Wolfbane, the Wolf, the Wolf Gang, the Wolf, fuck, what was it called again? The Wolfsbane, right, the Wolfsbane. And pretty good chapter actually. Was I liked it because it answered some questions. That was what I usually look for in the new chapters. And today's chapter basically started off with um, what's his name, Shinji, and he was being like obviously thrown back from what's her name, Bambieta's. Well, I'll just call her Masturbine because it sounds better than Bambieta. Bastarbine's or Sternritter E there better. Sternritter E's attack, the explode. So now we know why she has the name Sternritter E. Apparently, everything she infuses her reishi with becomes a bomb, which I guess is pretty interesting, I suppose. And then we see Komamura, and he's protecting Shinji, and she's like throwing his bombs at him. He's deflecting them. She's throwing them, and we see Vice Captain, what's her name, the little girl there, Ishimura, how did anyway? So we see the little girls trying to attack Sterner E, but unfortunately, what's his name? Well, fortunately, Komamura stops her attack, and because she probably would have gotten her head cut off, let's face it, because this girl seems to be somewhat OP. Anyway, so basically the chapter, there's not really much that goes on during the chapter. Basically what, like, it starts off, she's like down, up, left, right, down, because she's talking to Shinji, and he's like all inverted. For a second when I was reading that, I'm like, is she trying to do a cheat in GTA? Like, you know what I mean? Down, right, left, up, down, wrong, down, wrong. Anyway, so I found that pretty funny. So yeah, then after that, after she takes down Shinji, she's fighting Komamura, who happens to have his mask on. And while Komamura is basically like slightly dodging her moves, but he says, I'm deflecting at the last second to like avoid damage. And notice that he has his helmet on again, which should like we don't know why exactly, but we find out later on in the chapter, obviously. And then what's her name? She gets Student E gets attacked by Vice Captain, like I said before, Vice Captain Tobiyume, I think. Anyway, and what's her name? Komamura saves her. And then after that, she keeps like taunting them, little doggy, da, 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 sitting duck, sitting duck. And then we come to the point where what's his face, Komamura, loses his mask, and we see that he's a human, well, semi-human, and he's like, he looks pretty good actually. I think the art looks good. He looks a mix between Aizen and that guy from that guy who was in the, I forget his name now, the guy in the anime last season, basically the final villain of the last season. He was basically the what's his name there, the guy that Ichigo ended up fighting. Anyway, he looks a bit like him and Aizen put together, and on top of like having the skin, like the fur over here, obviously of his former form. And we find out that he received this form after going to see his grandfather. And what he needed to do was to take out his heart and put it in a plate in front of his grandfather, which is like, you'd think like, okay, that technically kills you, right? Well, apparently it's the only way to attain this human metamorphosis technique, a technique that was like renowned in his clan. And then we find out a little bit about his clan. We find out that he left his clan, like he somewhat sort of betrayed or left his clan, and that's why he was wearing the helmet. And what's his name, Yamamoto, took him in and like he trained him and whatever, and that's how he became part of the Kote 13. Um, and what he says is this: it's like after encountering a bit of conflict with his grandfather, he still goes through with it. He still takes out his heart. We see like the blood squirting off, and then it cuts back to the actual battle, which shows us how he got the ability. The new like the human metamorphosis technique. But like, what does the human metamorphosis technique do? Like, aren't humans technically weaker than beasts? According to this chapter, apparently not. Then Komamura uses Bankai, Kokujo, Tengen Myo, whatever. But Dangai Jue, different technique. Basically, what happens is we see this freaking his big like giant thing, but it looks kind of like skullish and demonic, and it's got like fire coming out of his eyes and like two giant horns, and then a bunch of ropes everywhere. So, did he actually technically get stronger? We don't really know. Will we ever know? Most likely next chapter. Pretty good chapter. It was a good setup chapter. It wasn't nothing too great, but it definitely deserves. It definitely had more than what an average Bleach chapter had, which I was really happy with. And this definitely gets an 8 on 10 as a rating for me. Would I would I have wanted to change anything? I would have actually much preferred to see Shinji fight the bitch of Stern Ritter E, because I really want to see Shinji's Bankai. I mean, granted, he was injured, but like, you know what I mean? Even after like I don't know, maybe he could have gotten up from that. I mean, it couldn't. Okay, and like, fine, he got hurt, whatever, but whatever. I guess that's okay. The second thing I kind of wanted to go over was Basterbine, or Sternritter E's ability can create bombs out of anything she fuses her Reishi with. I don't see how that would end a war. I mean, I see it as pretty OP, but I don't see it as OP as like everything she looks at explodes. You know what I mean? That would have been OP. But this isn't exactly OP enough to convince me to stop the war, to end the war. So maybe they were just overhyping it, or anyway. Other than that, it was a pretty good chapter. That's what I think that they could have done better with the chapter, but you can't have them all. But overall, really good chapter. I was actually really happy with it. 8 on 10, definitely. Other than that, no problems whatsoever. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry for having the review out kind of late. Someone in my family passed away, and I had to go to like a church and stuff. And I was busy all day yesterday, so I didn't have a chance to do my review on time. And today, luckily though, 2 of my classes were canceled today, so I didn't have any school. So I came and I was able to do these on time since I woke up kind of late. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great rest of the week. We'll see each other next week. Take care.